have never owned an Apple computer before, so I thought it'd be fun to buy the cheapest one possible and see how it runs. I got this guy on eBay for about $50. It's a 2009 Mac Mini, or an early model, so it's only got that 2 GHz processor, and it only had 2 GB of RAM, so I thought I'd soup it up a little bit. I got a solid state drive for about $50, 128 GB, and a 8 GB of RAM, so I've definitely boosted it up a little bit. Altogether, probably cost me about $150. So, I mean, that's a good amount for a 10-year-old computer, but it's definitely a lot cheaper than most of what you'll find. And for the performance, I'm actually really happy with it. So how about we go ahead and show you what this bad boy can do. I'm gonna do a few speed tests and then show you a couple of different operating systems that I've put out. It runs Windows 10 incredibly well, to be honest, so it's a pretty fun little machine. So one little annoying thing about this guy is that the button is on the back with all the outputs and such. So I could either have it faced forward with the optical drive to make it look all pretty, but to be honest, most of the time I actually have it sideways. And while I turn it on, I can actually show you. It has a bunch of really neat outputs. It has a bunch of USBs. How many there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 6 USB outputs, and then it has its peripheral output for the display. And I actually got an adapter for the HDMI, so that cost me, another $8 or so. But I went ahead and how about we go ahead and turn it on? And that's another thing too. But here we go. It takes a second or two for it to load up, but once we get it running there, it actually runs really nice. Well, it loads up pretty quick. So how about we just stare at the blank white screen of death for a couple of minutes? Here we go. And there we are. Now, it does seem like it takes a little while to load up, but compared to some of the other YouTube videos I've seen of Mac Minis, I'm actually really happy with how this guy opens up. Alright, how about I go ahead and enter my password and show off OS El Capitan. There we go. There we go. So it's loaded into El Capitan. I really like this operating system. It looks really pretty, especially compared to Windows. There are a few problems with it though. For example, it can't run the newest version of Pages, and since I've never bought Pages before, I have no real way of using it. I managed to download this 30-day free trial, and I guess if you update it and blah, you can get it on your computer, but it didn't really work for me, so I don't really know how to get the newest version of Pages on here. I do have some peripheral Word processing thing, so it's not the end of the world, but it'd be nice to actually use Pages because I've heard about how awesome it is. So how about we load up Google and YouTube and all that fun stuff and show you how fast this is for a pretty old computer. Here we are. It's really funny doing this through a lens on a camera. Maybe I'll just set this guy down and actually look at the computer and see what I'm doing. Alright, let's go into YouTube and hopefully watch some 1080p fancy video. It does run 1080p pretty well. Obviously 720p is a lot smoother. I did try 4K and that didn't work. How about we load into some scary Halloween angry video game nerd. This was a pretty fun episode, by the way. So yep, auto 1080p HD, put it in full screen, and as you can see, it runs pretty nicely for the most part. Where's my little mouse? Let's get into his face so you can see if there's any stuttering or jerking and all that kind of good stuff. So this is 1080p on a computer that probably cost me about $150, a Mac anyway. I know a normal PC for $150 can play YouTube incredibly easy. PCs are just a lot cheaper in general, but for the price, I'm really happy with running this guy. I get to play with an operating system that I never usually get to play with, so I think that's pretty fun. Now I can dual boot into Windows 10, and I have some programs on there that I'm having some fun with. So how about we go into Windows 10 and see how that is. Here we go. I can load up the App Store, so show you how quickly that loads up. And I think I downloaded a couple of games on here and a couple of apps. I got that World of Tanks game, which actually runs reasonably nice. Now, you're not going to play any modern games on this thing. I do have some games like Civilization and Roller Coaster Tycoon and all that good stuff that runs reasonably well. I have no idea how well the newest game. I don't think it would run too well at all. It's got its own little graphics processor in here. It's like a GeForce, NVIDIA GeForce something or other that's soldered onto the chip. So it's nothing special. It might, from what I think, it might as well just be a laptop graphics processor. But it seems to be doing its job for what I want it for right now. So how about we go ahead and put it into Windows 10 if you'd like to see how that looks. Here's the dual boot screen. I'm actually going to go ahead and click on Windows here. Now the thing I really like about this computer is that it definitely holds its reputation with Mac computers being high quality. It's definitely got really nice hardware. When I opened this bad boy up, it looked like I hadn't been touched in 10 years, yet everything worked quite well, except for the optical drive, and that's actually why I got it for so cheap, is the CD drive didn't work very well, so I went ahead and took it all apart and put a Q-tip with some alcohol and cleaned that up a little bit. Now the CD drive works reasonably well on it too. So all the components, it's just really fit in well and really tight, and it just is definitely a very well-built machine. I think if Apple has lost that edge within the past few years, it definitely didn't lose it in 2009, because this is a very well-built computer. So this is my Windows 10 screen. I downloaded this video editing software for free just a couple of weeks ago. I was looking for some free software, and I guess PowerDirector had a deal where I could download this for free one day. I wasn't too worried about viruses and all that kind of good stuff, because this is basically just my toy that I get to play with. So go to the full feature editor, and it does edit videos okay. I'm actually going to try and edit this video in this program, so we will see how that turns out. The only problem is once you start trying to edit the color and actually do the graphics, and anything with regards to graphics, you put that too much and it starts to run really slow. So I'll go ahead and edit this video in this program and show you how well that works. But as a daily driver, just something to use every single day, you know, it's actually it's a really reasonably well computer. Now the only Word software I had at the time was from 2003, and obviously that works incredibly well. So I can do all my productivity, and my wife can use Excel and all that kind of good stuff. So as I said, if you're looking for a cheap, or the cheapest that you can find kind of Apple computer, the Mac Mini is definitely a way to go. I think it's really cool. I'm definitely really happy with it. Alrighty, I just thought I'd show you the Mac Mini. I'd show everybody, because I just want to show people how cool this little computer is. I think it's really neat. Alrighty, well, have a bye everyone.